This is FantasyEsque, and welcome back to the Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. We are picking up in the training room with Lady Saphira, our champion, the heiress, Princess Eden Salazar, the Queen Aphrodite, and Meredith, who snuck off in the movie and has just returned, is chatting with her aunt as if nothing in the world is wrong. And we know she's been doing stuff. So before we dive in, let's really quickly discuss the movie that we saw. So, our lovely Meredith, our gorgeous Meredith, she was in an unfamiliar place trying to find someone. She was looking for someone because she really wanted a glimpse of something, right? And she didn't see what she was looking for until suddenly that very someone snuck up behind her and engaged her in conversation, asking what she's doing here and what her intentions are. And then it kind of went in a flirtatious route. Basically, Meredith, we know, has been intrigued by the visitant warlock Athel Tilke since the day he was caught. But of course, because she was younger back then, they weren't really given a lot of access to the prisoner, obviously. So she had to keep her wits about it and deal with having to sneak around, maybe catch a little sight of him here and there, but really not being able to speak to him or anything like that. But she was just floored by his beauty and just fascinated by the way he looked, especially his horns. Like, everything is just so different about him, and she was kind of drawn to that. Obviously, nothing came of it while he was in the castle, and before long, the ladies had this exchange, and then he was given back to his people, so she didn't have access to him at all. So she somehow braved up, and at this point, everyone is, like, since, all the birthdays have happened, and we have immortals, right now the queen and pretty much all the youngsters are focusing on training their studies, trying to get their vampiric powers and skills up. That's really where their focus is, and because of that, everyone's spending a lot of individual time reflecting on themselves and trying to hone themselves. So obviously nobody's going to be paying too much attention if one of the youngsters wanders off the property for a little bit and then comes back, a day or so later. Nobody's going to wonder too much because everyone's just so caught up in their own thing. So Meredith took advantage of that, and she knows, when they were young, they stayed at Castle. There was a point where they stayed at, I think when Sophia was around the time when she was pregnant, they actually stayed at Brittleton Bay in Castle Narcissa. And I think when she was there, she found out where the visitants are staying and maybe a safe place nearby. So she was snooping around, and eventually, she found Athel. And they started kind of flirting with each other, and she said, "I don't mean you any harm. I'm not here spying on the visitants or anything. I'm just drawn to your beauty." And Athel admitted that he was quite drawn to Meredith's beauty as well, because she looks different from what he's seen among the vampiresses. So she does not have the vampiric eyes, she doesn't have the sharp ears. He just finds her to be quite intriguing, right? So he was making comments saying, the Coven's probably not going to be too happy if they find out you're here. And Meredith, I feel, was kind of swooning, and she was like, yeah, they definitely would not be. And then Athel kind of was encouraging that and saying, well, that makes this all the more exciting. So they kind of flirted with each other and spent some time together. Now, don't mistake this for romance, guys. I don't think, I suppose maybe a little bit of romance, but don't mistake it for love. I do not think Athel and Meredith are in love with each other in any way, shape, or form. That is not what's happening here. It is just pure attraction and fascination. And, she's young, she's doing things. He's new, he's different, she's doing things that she hasn't done before. She is just enraptured by this concept of mystery and beauty. So that's what's going on. She came back as if nothing in the world is wrong, and nobody thought much of her brief disappearance. I don't even think anyone noticed. And then in the second half of the movie, we saw Aphrodite talking with Eden, and she was essentially telling Eden that your mentors have been saying that your studies are going well and they feel as though you're ready for the next step, which is now sparring with Saphira. So up until this point, she's been, doing a lot of tomes, mentoring. Saphira is her primary mentor, of course, but she's had multiple, depending on the availability of different sims and also Saphira's mood. So they all feel as though the princess is ready to begin sparring with the champion, and obviously we know how this goes. Once she wins against the champion, then she's ready to challenge her mother. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wait to fulfill that process with Guinevere as well. So even though Eden's ready, or she will be soon, hopefully, I don't think I'll push ahead with the challenge until Guinevere is also ready, so that in case Eden loses, we can go straight to Guinevere and get her to challenge Aphrodite without, having to spend time training her up, because we'll already be done with that. But also, in the conversation they had in the movie, I kind of got the sense that Aphrodite was not really impressed with how slow Guinevere is compared to Eden in their vampiric studies, and she was kind of just, I don't know if she was writing Guinevere off, but she was saying that, Eden, it's all on you now. It's all on you. Everyone is really expecting things from you and not your sister. So I kind of get the feeling that Aphrodite wants Eden to be the next ruler, not necessarily Guinevere. And I personally feel as though it's just because Eden is the firstborn and Aphrodite is just being biased towards her because of tradition. I personally, I've said this so many times, so many times. I do want Eden to be, ideally for her to be queen, but I do feel like Guinevere is going to be a better queen, so I don't know, I feel like that should mean that I want Guinevere to be queen. It'll definitely be interesting if she is. So, okay, we are gonna dive in and go ahead with this training that needs to be done, the sparring between Saphira and Eden. So we want to do that. Let's see, Vampiric Spa. I'm excited. I am quite excited. But yeah, she's focusing on this. And the queen, she's not really paying too much attention to Guinevere. I feel like anything the queen's pushing Guinevere to do, it's really just to be an assist for Eden. I think the queen is, like, any training that Guinevere is being made to do is not necessarily because they want her to be prepared as the next ruler. They want her to be prepared to serve in Eden's court. I think that's what's going on. But obviously, Guinevere has other ambitions. Okay, let's do our sparring. And during the during the tournament that we had, I think Saphira did beat Eden. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Saphira beat Eden. Unless I'm remembering something wrong. I don't think I am. So let's have a look. She looks like she's doing really well. Oh my goodness, guys. Guys! Are you serious? Eden, you are like way more powerful than I thought you were. She just beat Saphira. You know what that means, right, guys? That means that Eden is ready to challenge the queen. We could do it now, but no, I'm not going to do that because, like I said, I do want Guinevere to catch up to Eden. So Eden is, a master at this point. The queen we know is grandmaster. So her sister Guinevere is still a prime vampire. She's like halfway to becoming a master. She needs to become a master, and then she has to go through the same process of trying to defeat Saphira, so that in case Eden loses, she's prepared to challenge the queen. And then it's like a back and forth between them until one of them wins, essentially. So, oh my goodness, Eden, you were way too cool. I was not expecting that. Sometimes it takes much longer for, the Sims to be ready for that. So I suppose, really, the queen did say, now you're going to be sparring with Saphira, and she probably thought that was going to take a bit. But it was like a test, first try, and she passed. She doesn't really need any more training. She is well and truly ready. At least physically is. I feel like Eden, in terms of, I feel as though she's the more talented twin out of herself and Guinevere. I feel like she's the more talented one. And I feel like she is possibly, physically stronger. I think she did beat Guinevere during the tournament as well. She is physically stronger, but I don't think she has the vision and the personality to be an effective queen. Now, some of you have been saying that you think she would make a good queen because of her eldest trait, and you said that like in your personal gameplay you've had vampires or queens with the childish trait, and the childish trait for you is associated with meanness, and you think a mean queen would be a good queen. I don't necessarily always attach one meaning to a particular trait. I feel like depending on who the character is and the combination of other traits, that kind of differs, right? Not everyone with the same set of traits are going to have the same type of personality or character. The traits will manifest themselves in different ways. But also, because we already have a mean trait in the game, I don't necessarily associate childishness with meanness, if that makes sense. At least not in Eden's case. For me, childish means that she has very short attention span and she thinks very much about what's enjoyable in the present rather than what's useful in the long run. And so I feel like she would be overly reliant on her court for a lot of things. I kind of feel like she'd be similar to Aphrodite in a way. I feel like she'd be like similar to Aphrodite, but yeah, depending on who else is in her court, weaker. I mean, she's gonna have what, 2 evil sims possibly in her court, so it's a different situation from Aphrodite, because yes, Aphrodite is reliant on the vampiresses in her service, but we don't have any vampiresses in this generation who are trying to sabotage the coven or to sabotage the queen, so it's okay. Whereas Eden's kind of the same as Aphrodite. She's got that kind of softer, weaker, reliant on other people personality. But then she's going to have these really strong personalities in her generation that could twist things in a very dark direction, and could manipulate her and such. So for that reason, I do not think she is the appropriate queen. Whereas Guinevere has a much stronger personality and she knows what she wants. She's more kind of like queen material. And then some of you were actually saying, I think it was EKA98, you were saying that Guinevere is chaotic evil and Elaine is lawful evil, which is funny. I didn't think about it that way, but it does make a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. They have different evil alignments. Okay. Well, since we're done with that, we need to focus on you, honey. I should be focusing on you, trying to make you level with your sister so that we can kind of get what we need done. Okay, the tomes, guys, are great. Seriously. Tomes are flippin' amazing. They allow me to get stuff done so much quicker than I was doing it before. I can just get my sims to, sit down and read the tomes, and it's very helpful. Okay, you can reread that. Okay, we don't have any tomes there. Strange, very strange. What about, okay, we've got some lying around here. Read that. You have one in the inventory. Read. You need one. Yeah. Read. And then Eden, she doesn't really need to do any more training. She's kind of done. But it might be a good idea to still get her to continue her vampiric education, just so we can work towards... Look at Catherine. Catherine, that is not the place to be sitting down, really. It is not. But with Eden, it might be a good idea to, start working towards that sun resistance. That's kind of useful. Aphrodite has sun resistance. I actually think she's the only one with sun resistance, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the others might have like some points, but she's fully resistant to the sun, which is great. Really. Okay, Meredith. That is also not a good place to be sitting. Let's all step away from the throne. Step away from the throne. And look at them. Don't they look lovely engaged in their studies as they are? Did you do your reading? Did you do your reading, Lagatha? I don't know, but we're gonna get it back onto that. Okay, Eden is done. She's got such a short attention span. Such a short attention span. Guinevere doesn't have that long, but we're just gonna keep trying. In terms of the calendar, so today is the mentorship, and actually I should probably get these ladies mentored. And then we have the Autumn Caravan coming up pretty soon. So there is that. There is that. Okay, well, let's see. Why don't we get... I feel like the princesses getting mentored is probably the most important thing. So Aphrodite, why don't you train up Eden? Guinevere can go to Saphira. I feel like now that Saphira has trained Eden, Saphira is going to become the primary mentor for Guinevere. So, you know, she's trained up one princess, and now she has to train up the next one. Okay, finish your dancing. And the queen, finish your dancing. You need to train up the youngsters. Okay, and then Lagatha, still reading. Are you guys reading? Not necessarily. Okay, let's find Galaxia. Let's find Galaxia, and let's find Oriana. Let's get some training from these guys. There we go. Lagatha and Meredith, they're also prime vampires right now, and they don't have long until they're masters. So actually, I feel like they've been keeping up quite a bit. Like they've been doing really good on their own. They were quite determined as teenagers to be on par with the royals or the other vampires in terms of ability, and I feel like they've maintained that. Whereas the dragons, they're like minor vampires right now, so not really. They're trying, but I don't feel like they put nearly as much effort as these guys. With the royals, it's expected. With the Dravages, they hold themselves to a high standard, and then with the dragons, not really. And I don't know if it's just me, guys, but I don't feel as though we've had any overly maternal vampiresses this generation. Am I the only one? Even with Galaxia, like half the time I forget that she is the mother of Catherine and Elaine. Like, I don't think I've really seen any situation where she's spent time with them or has been very motherly to them. It feels to me very much like the adults are kind of in their own world and the youngsters are in their own world. Is it just me? Like, I feel like in previous generations, some of the parents have been more maternal than what we've seen this time around. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because they all had their daughters and their kids, like, super early on, when they were quite young. So they never really figured out how to be a mother. And it just never really came to them. They kind of passed their kids on to someone else, Siri, and then when the kids, you know, joined the castle, I mean, this happened in the past, but when the kids joined the castle, I feel like they never really found their groove of being a parent. They kind of left the children to their own devices, probably because there were, like, all these other things to worry about and to focus and spend time on. Okay, we did get our training done, which is good. I don't know how much more we can sneak in. It takes like a while for them to be in any sort of training mood once they've done it. Yeah, I don't think you can request any more mentoring from the Sims. At least not at present. But what we can do is get them back on their tomes. Let's just find where everyone left their tomes lying around. Okay, is this the green one? Yes, it is. And let's see. Where'd you put your tome? Where did you put? You holding it? Okay, we'll just grab it out of the shelf. There we go. And your sister, her tome, I think, is going to be in one of the chests. Yep, they really have it in those bookshelves. Usually it's kind of spread in these chests here. Okay, good. There's one here. We'll give that to Catherine. Maybe there's one lying downstairs. Let's see. I don't really see where one... Sometimes they leave it on the floor in the oddest of places. And that can... Oh, look, there's multiple here. In the throne room. That works out too. Okay, let's read. Read. Eden, do some reading. But I feel like Eden has a really short attention span. She doesn't really like spending too much time reading and stuff. She kind of finishes really quickly and is done very, very quickly. Okay, she's gonna do some reading. Guinevere is going upstairs to reading. Sometimes when I get them all to, you know, study together, they cluster around a table or they end up in one room, and it's just so cool seeing them all hang out together. Like, look at this! I love this so much! Look, Meredith is here, Guinevere is here, they're reading by the fire. And I don't specify where they go to sit, sometimes they just go in the same place. And look, they're all sitting here. Oh, I love this. In the erudite commons, we've got Princess, Lagatha, the Dragon Sisters, Elaine and Catherine. I love this! They're all sitting down together and reading, like hanging out in the same spot. So cool. So cool. I adore that so much. Because it's not like I'm putting the books down in a specific spot and telling them to go there. I usually just drag it into the inventories. And wherever they are in the house, I'm fine for them to, you know, sit down and do their readings there. But it's funny because a lot of the times they gravitate towards the same areas. It's like this is the first time I've seen them all up here like this in this particular setup. But sometimes they'll be on the table and on the sofa here. Sometimes they will be in the throne room. Sometimes they'll kind of cluster around here. So that's kind of cool. I love that. And this was kind of the designated study place, study spot for the ladies. So I kind of like that the youngsters are using this place. Okay. Well, she's made like a little bit more progress towards getting that done. But I'm going to work on this a bit more behind the scenes, and then maybe we can jump back together. I mean, we have the autumn caravan soon, so I wonder if I should continue working on this. I mean, they also have whims, right? We could also work on their whims, maybe. We've made some progress. Maybe let's check out... Actually, I think let's check out the whims to see how they're going in that regard. So Catherine wants to get to know Galaxia, which makes sense. I was just talking about how I don't feel like Galaxia has been that maternal, and I keep forgetting that these are her kids. But now that they're older, you know, Catherine wants to get to know her mother a bit more. She wants to spend more time with her mother, which makes sense because she's the priestess in line. And, you know, she's going to be the one who will have the burden of those responsibilities. So she probably wants to connect with her mother more and maybe learn more about the role. So that makes sense to me. Okay, does anyone else have anything exciting going on? Galaxia wants to share... See, I don't even know. This, I feel like... Oh, under group activities. Group activities. I always look in the friendly thing. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll pop that in, and maybe I'll try figuring that out. I feel like I'm never able to. And Lagatha wants to get to know Lady Siri. Maybe we'll pop that in and get her mother to visit her. And Cloud gaze to Lagatha Dravich. You will kill her, Lady Sophia. You will kill her. So no cloud gazing. Thank you very much. That is not cool. Okay, let's track down the priestess. And let's get to know Mother Dearest. Yeah, let's go down and get to know the priestess a bit more. Let's go do that. Or is Mother Dearest coming up to you? Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. She can bat wherever she wants. Okay, let's have a bit of a chat. Oh, there we go. This is much needed, I feel. See, look, she's impressed. Oh, that's adorable. I can kind of see how Catherine like really looks up to her mother. She really does. And I think she wants to do well when she eventually becomes priestess. Which is actually very sweet. Okay, who else? And now Galaxia wanted to share astronomy knowledge with Saphira, and I've never been able to get this down because I never realized it was a group activity. But let's see if that works even. I feel like sometimes the group activities just aren't really functional. But let's see. Where are the group? It's not under group story. I don't see. Not stargazing. I don't see it. And I don't know what it is. Like, wait, share astronomy knowledge. Is that it? Share vampire knowledge. That's pretty cool. Yep, I think that's it. Sometimes, though, I don't even see that interaction. Like, I saw it come up this time around, but sometimes I don't see that share astronomy knowledge interaction. So I kind of avoid the whim or ignore the whim. But hey, that works. Yeah, why don't you speak to your best friend, your twinsies. These ladies, they've always been really close, like growing up and even now. Super, super close. Excellent. Nice. Okay, so they managed to get that. And oh, that's adorable. She adores her younger twin. And that's just so sweet. Okay, so we've managed to get that done. And then you, Lagatha just really wants to see her mother. So I wonder if we can invite her. If not, I might have to just get the queen to summon her over. Because I feel like the vampires sleep at the weirdest times. Like, I would not expect her to rock up right now, but maybe she will because she's a vampire. Yeah, okay, she'll be right over. I suppose the vampires sleep in the day. So if you invite one of them during the day, they won't show up. Invite in. And seriously, Siri has the keys to the castle. She's been given the keys to the castle. But I feel like she rarely comes over to visit. Like, honey, please, visit us. And look at the cousins. These are the nice cousins. The nice cousins hanging out. Right over here. There we go. Yeah. Let's get to know Siri. I think Lagatha is just curious about how her mother is doing recently with the war going on and everything. Let's see. Get to know. I don't see a get to know, which is unfortunate. So I might have to kind of get rid of that. Yeah. Let's just ask about Day. We'll settle for asking about her day. I think Lagatha's just curious about how her mother's doing with the war and everything going on, and she has no clue. I mean, Lagatha she's always been, I feel like, the more mature one out of them two, and I feel like she's always been the one protecting Meredith. So I feel as though she's more aware of danger in general, and she knows that the visitants are dangerous. Her sister Meredith, though, does not seem to share the same opinion, because she's going off on secret rendezvous with their warlock without letting anyone know, which is really not good, and if anyone found out, it would be terrible. But, you know, if Lagatha found out, she would be terrified for her sister. I don't think she'd want her sister wandering around in the wild with these strange men who could kill her, you know. So, there's that been going on. There's that. Okay, I think I am gonna leave the ladies be for a bit and focus on their training behind the scenes, then maybe we can catch up at a later point. So I've spent the morning helping the other vampires with their studies, but I wanted to jump back in to take a look at Sophia's twins because they have aged up into toddlers, and I noticed that in the portrait panel, so I gave them their makeovers, and they look vastly different from one another. Very, very different. It's like one child has kind of taken like one of the parents' features, and the other one has gone after the other. So let's start off with Rick on the right. Now, they look very interesting. I will say they look very, very interesting. So just a quick comparison. Now, Rick has inherited his mother's skin tone, and he has inherited his mother's eyes. Now, for his hair, it's really light blonde, and I typically leave whatever color the game assigns to the boys because I like that variation, and then I say that maybe it's some sort of recessive gene or mutation. So he probably has some sort of recessive blonde gene in his family. Maybe maybe Sophia's parents, one of them had blonde hair. So there we go. Rick has blonde hair, but he essentially goes after his mother. And then we have little Azura Valenka, who looks very interesting. Azura has her father's blue skin tone, and she has her father's pink eyes. Now, interestingly enough, we were all curious about how we're going to deal with this hair situation because the father did have a natural hair color. So basically, what has happened with Azura is that the visitant and normal genes, I suppose, the witch genes, have clashed, and it's resulted in her having this interesting sort of mishmash of hair color. So she's inherited her mother's black, but then she has patches of the purple from her father. So this is kind of her natural hair color. It is a mix of purple and black, which I think is really, really cool. Now, we'll have to see if this stays this way as she gets older, or if it's going to eventually end up becoming entirely purple like her father. For now, though, look at her. She's adorable. But for now, she's got this interesting mishmash of her mother's hair and her father's hair. So, there we go. It is curious, is it not? It is very, very curious. So yeah, that obviously did not happen to her brother, but it happened to her. So I'm fascinated. I love it. I actually love how it looks, how she looks. I flippin' love it. And then her brother, Rick, of course. Hello there, Rick. Hello. He's cute too. They're both adorable. But, oh, look at them. Look at them. Her brother's angelic, and she's clingy. So there is that. She kind of looks like a little undead child. Not gonna lie. But I do love it. I definitely want to take a look at these two. So can we snuggle the child, please? Let's snuggle her, and then we'll snuggle Rick, because Sophia is not like the spellcasters before her. She's not going to just neglect her children. And then obviously, because of how young they are, they do not have their horns just yet. Once they become teenagers, I imagine they will start showing their horns. Start growing that once they're teenagers. So that'll be pretty cool. Oh, this is adorable. This is adorable. But yeah, Autumn Caravan tomorrow, and they're hanging out in their mother's room, which I thought was super, super cute. But just look at these two. I'm giving Azura a lot of attention because, you know, Azura. I don't know if she'll ever get to serve or when she'll get to serve, but I mean, ideally, because of how young Sophia still is, maybe Sophia is gonna be alive long enough for Azura to come of age. But obviously, Azura is not the first in line. The first in line is gonna be Xiomara. And then I imagine Azura is going to be the spellcaster or the alchemist after Xiomara. So, there's that. There is that. That looks so cool. She looks so cool. But she looks like a little undead child, which is interesting. Very intriguing. She definitely looks unnatural. She doesn't seem like a normal kid. But that's too cool. That is way too cool. She's got kind of this grayish blue skin tone going on. But it's nice to see her brother and her playing together because they don't actually stay together. They live separately. Look at them! Yeah, they live separately. So we actually have the brother, Rick, he stays with the Queen Spellcasters in Oasis Springs, and then Azura, she stays with Xiomara and Serana, and I think Ariel Covenrose is now assigned to that place, but she stays with them at the Glimmerbrook Embassy. So they don't really get to see each other, but they must feel some sort of kinship, because they are just getting along fine. And, oh, those pink eyes look so pretty on her, don't they? They look so pretty on her. I feel like her appearance suits her name so much. Like, so much. And look at him. He's being fascinated by the little cow plant. What are you doing? What are you doing, little one? Oh, she's adorable. She's adorable. Her mother's gone off doing who knows what. But the kids, they're just gonna play here for a little bit. Look at the pretty scenery outside. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. He's definitely a lot more controlled than her. But I suppose I understand why she's so attached to her brother, because she is supposed to be really clingy. So probably like her caretakers, family members, friends, she's just very reliant on them. And very fascinated with everything here. Sophia, you don't want to spend more time with your children? Do you not want to spend more time with your children? I'm just so fascinated seeing these little ones interact with each other. And actually, I'm very excited about Rick as well, because you guys will know he is the first boy that we've had born in this generation. I mean, he's not even a vampire, but that doesn't even matter. He's like the first boy. And that is all that I care about right now. So, yes, I love Azura, but I'm also just quite smitten with Rick. Oh, Rick, you're adorable. You are an adorable little baby. Oh. Okay, well, I don't know what your mother is doing, but, you know, she's obviously not here with you. She's too busy walking around doing who knows what. Seriously, Sophia, pay some attention to your children. She's doing sit-ups there. Pay some attention to Azura, please. Let's check on Azura and then maybe check on Rick to see how they're going. Fine. Check on Rick first. My goodness. Azura's probably busy. She's like, I don't want attention right now. She's like, no, I'm busy playing. Okay, is Rick fine? What does he need? Oh, yeah. There we go. He needed some fun. He just needed some fun. He wanted you to play with him. Oh, that's cute. This is not something we typically see with the boys and their mothers. And then check on Azura when you're done. Let's see how Azura's doing. Does she want some playtime as well? I'm sure she will. I am sure she will. Okay, let's wrap it up here. Jump to Azura. But yeah, I think that's really cool. The fact that the visitant genes are probably a little bit different. I mean, these two, they are crossbred children. Interbred children, I should say. So, the genes in Azura have manifested very differently. She hasn't gotten entirely one parent's hair and all the other parents. It's like a mix. primarily black, but it's got these patches of purple. And I actually wonder, like, is that, when she grows up, is that gonna be something that people are, like, fascinated by? I suppose it depends how the visitants are remembered. Because if they're remembered as something negative, then people might kind of view her as an outcast and see her hair and horns as proof that she is, you know, an alien. She's not one of them. Whereas if the visitants are remembered as something good and they're honored, then I suppose people will feel quite impressed by how different she looks. Like, her hair and horns might set her apart as coming from some sort of noble lineage. So that'll be interesting to see how that kind of progresses as time goes on. But I think we're good to wrap up here. Oh, and they've disappeared. Okay, she has magic to children away. That was enough playtime. That is fine. And we need to get this somewhere out where our... do we not have a trash can anywhere? Where does all our rubbish go? Just out of curiosity, because we don't seem to have really anything. Do we not have a trash can, like, anywhere? That's just ridiculous. Like, where the hell are we throwing things then? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I need to flip in. I didn't even think about this. This is something I haven't even really thought of. But now we need to pop a trash can somewhere. Oh, this is driving me mental. I think normally I just throw trash down the... Oh, this is annoying. I think normally we just throw trash down the sink or something of the sort. And I've just never been bothered, really, to assign a place for the trash. But maybe out here somewhere, because it's kind of hidden away and we don't really frequent this area. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. That is what... I mean, we have this, like, chute. You know what? I'm gonna add a flippin' chute. I'm gonna add this chute right over there. Right over there. And then we'll just get whoever's throwing the trash to come out and throw it here. It's nice. It's hidden away. I can't really see what's going on. I like it. And there we go. After, like, what, 40 episodes, I realized we don't have a trash, and we finally get that put in. I need to be better about this. Seriously, guys. But okay, I think this is a good spot for us to wrap up. We have the Autumn Caravan coming up, so I suppose next episode we're going to be packing our bags and heading off back to Salvadorada to take a break, see what's happening there. And I assume in this situation it's going to be them patrolling the territory to make sure that everything is well in the Empire and the visitants are encroaching on any more territory. So, okay guys, with that said and done, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.